So let me tell you about an issue that I reckon a national summit should hear about, something that politicians, community leaders and even business people should discuss. A Supreme Court judge in the Northern Territory has shone a spotlight on Indigenous disadvantage and an epidemic of domestic violence, crime and abuse in the Territory. Justice Judith Kelly has given a speech that says there's a cult-like attitude of anti-racism that stops people from talking about and acting on these traumatic and tragic issues in Indigenous communities. Speaking at a legal event in Darwin last week, Justice Kelly said she talks about an ideology of supposed anti-racism because the underlying assumption of this ideology appears to be that Aboriginal people must exist in a permanent state of victimhood, an assumption that is, in fact, deeply racist, she says. Now, this senior judge talked about some of her efforts to draw public attention to serious crimes, especially against Aboriginal women, but all to no avail. Everyone is willing to talk about the over-representation of Aboriginal men in prison, she said. It's been called Australia's shame, and so it is. But as I have said before, the stream of Aboriginal men going to prison is matched by a steady stream, a river of Aboriginal women going to the hospital and to the morgue. It's an epidemic of extreme domestic violence, and I'm certainly not the only one to point it out. Now, this is coming from a judge on the front line. This is from a judge who hears the horrific details from victims, from relatives, from police in an endless procession of traumatic cases going through the Northern Territory courts. Justice Kelly talked about how she'd invited TV cameras into her court twice for the sentencing of a man who bashed his wife to death in 2015 and one who bashed and stabbed his partner to death in 2021. The victims were both Aboriginal women. Both times I did so not just to draw attention to horrific acts of domestic violence, said Justice Kelly, but because in both cases people witnessed what was happening and did nothing. In the 2015 case, around 20 people saw or heard that woman being bashed and crying out for help, and not one person intervened or even dialed 000. This is just shocking. This is what is happening. This is what people like Coalition Senator for the Northern Territory, Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price, want us to focus on. More politicians need to do the same. It demeans the whole country.